All right, going over the system configuration. First, we're going to start with the unit configuration settings for the VX-3000. All right. So what you can do here is you can add a VX-3000F unit to the system. You can select from the 4 zone, 8, or 16. And you can assign which amplifier per zone. And you can set up a standby amplifier, just in case one fails. Here you also choose how each amplifier distributes audio. And you can set up the frame IP addresses for network communication. So in short, you use this section when you're adding a main system unit and setting up how it controls speakers and amplifiers, as you see here. Next is the RM config. Here in the RM config, what you can do here is you can add and register remote mics in the system. Assign mic ID numbers, choose which zone each mic can broadcast to, set the talk button, press and hold or press to lock, enable or disable pre-announcement chimes. When to use this is when you are setting up a paging microphone and defining what areas they control and how they operate. In this case, we are going to put in RM500 just to set it there and hit OK. Next is the VX-3000 PM. What can you do? Here it's just so you can add a VX-3000 PM to your system and assign the ID. In this case, ID 1 or 2, meaning which chassis it's going to be connected to. And hit OK. Same thing now with the VX-3000 CT. You can, if you are adding this to the system, this is where you're going to add it. You need to tell it which ID it's gonna go to, either 0 or 1 in my case, because I have 2 frames. And then hit OK. So the purpose of these two sections are just so you can add a VX-3000 PM or CT to your system. All right, going over the VX-3000 network settings. This page is used to assign network settings to all devices in the VX-3000 system. This includes the mainframe, microphones, control panels that interface with the system over the network. So first thing is the VX-3000F unit section. What this is, it shows each VX-3000 frame, either that be the 04s, the 08s, the 16s, that's been added to the system. And it's useful for setting their IPs for each main unit, ensuring all frames are on the same subnet and making sure there's no duplicates, as you want each frame to have its own IP address. You don't want to have an IP conflict. From there, moving on, we have the VX-3000 PM unit section. What this is used for, again, same thing. You are assigning the IP so it can communicate to the mainframe. And if you have a VX-3000 CT, then under that you would see a VX-3000 CT section, and that is a straight duplicate from the VX-3000 PM. You are adjusting the same things. You're going to adjust the IP address, the subnet, and default gateway. From there, next we have the network unit section. What this is extra space to assign IPs to other devices in the system. In this case, that could be a NX300, as you see here. So if you have NX300s that need to communicate with the system, this is where you are going to set that up. From there, moving on to the network common settings. Below, you will see the system name. In this case, it just says VX-3000 system. And Underneath that, you are going to find the audio multicast address. What this is the multicast IP range used to send audio data over the network. It's used for to configure how each frame and preamps communicates audio, but you must be careful managing in large networks to avoid, again, IP conflicts. Under that, you will find audio packet size. As the name entails, it is adjusting the size of the audio packets. Why it's useful: adjusting the size may help optimize audio performance depending on network speeds, for example. From there, we have the UDP port settings. And what this is, it's ports used for sending audio data over multicast and unicast. Useful for ensuring proper communication between the VX-3000 units over UDP and matching port settings with network switch or fire rules. From there, we have the TCP port section. Now, what this is for: ports used for control and management, not audio in this case. Useful for configuring how the PC talks to devices, for setup or remote control. Required for software to update settings or read status. Moving on from there, we have the server settings, the DNS server, the NTP server, and for here, for the DNS server, it will be used if the system relies on a domain name resolution. For the NTP server, it sets up network time protocols server address, useful for keeping all logs, broadcasts, and timers in sync across the full system. So why this page is essential is because every IP-based VX-3000 unit must have a unique IP. Proper port and multicast setup ensures clear, synchronized audio. Enables the software and system to communicate reliably over the LAN. Okay, now going over the amplifier configuration settings. So if your system has a VX 08 or 16, then this option will be available to you. If you have the 04s, then this is not an option for you. As the 08s and the 16s, you can choose which amplifier will power which zone. So in this case, in my system, I have an 08, as you see here. And these knobs let you say, hey, this 150 is going to power zone 1, 2, and 3, for example, maybe. But then this 300 can power just, let's get this down here. 300 can power from zone 4 and down. Or if maybe you want to merge zones, you can do that as well. Point is, this is where you are going to adjust that. So depending on your system, you are going to play around with this to make sure you could assign the right amount of power for your zone. Next, you will find the standby amplifier setting page. On this page, this is where you assign backup amplifiers to take over automatically if a main amplifier fails. So onto your left side, you will see the additional amplifiers that you have not initially set for standby. And on the right, you will find an amplifier which you have enabled standby with. So when you wish to assign it, you would click on that amplifier. In this case, I have the 08, and if I want to assign this to number 4, which is my ID 0, it's already clicked. I can click add, and you can see there. So you can see now the standby amplifier in the VX-3004 ID 0 is connected to now the VX-3008. So in general, what is this page used for? It is ensuring redundancy in case an amplifier fails, assigning spare amps for each unit to protect active zones, and it helps the system remain operational even in the event of an amplifier hardware failure.
Dr. Sound. TOA.